With patience, you develop a deeper trust in the timing of your life and the unfolding of your path. You learn that sometimes waiting is not about delay, it's about preparation. It's about allowing yourself to fully heal, to gain new perspectives, and to emerge stronger and wiser on the other side. In essence, patience is an act of kindness toward yourself. It honors your humanity and the complexity of your experiences. By embracing patience, you cultivate a mindset that supports lasting peace and fulfillment, helping you walk away with confidence, clarity, and no regrets. Patience also means resisting the urge to fill the void left by walking away too quickly. Sometimes the discomfort of letting go tempts us to jump into something new before we're truly ready. But patience allows space for reflection and growth, helping you to understand what you really want and need moving forward. It teaches you to listen to your inner voice instead of external noise, so that your next steps are grounded in authenticity rather than escape or distraction. Moreover, patience nurtures resilience. It reminds you that transformation is a gradual process and that the seeds you plant today may take time to grow. It encourages you to stay committed to your well-being, even when progress feels slow or invisible. Patience is an essential quality when it comes to walking away without regrets. Often we want immediate clarity, quick healing, and instant relief from the discomfort that comes with endings. But real change and true peace take time. Patience means allowing yourself the grace to move through the process at your own pace, without rushing or forcing a resolution. It's about understanding that healing isn't linear. There will be good days and bad days, moments of doubt and moments of clarity. Sometimes you might feel ready to move on, only to find yourself pulled back into old feelings or memories. That's normal. It's part of the journey. When you practice patience, you give yourself permission to experience the full spectrum of emotions without judgment or self-criticism. Many people resist vulnerability because they equate it with weakness, but in reality, it is the gateway to strength. Being vulnerable doesn't mean you are fragile, it means you are real. It allows you to connect with your true self and with others on a deeper level. It also breaks down the walls of isolation that can make endings so much harder. When you embrace vulnerability, you're more likely to seek support when you need it, express your needs clearly, and create healthier boundaries moving forward. Walking away with vulnerability also means trusting that your feelings, no matter how raw or uncertain, are valid and important. It's about recognizing that it's okay to not have everything figured out right now. This acceptance takes the pressure off perfection and allows you to move through the process at your own pace. Vulnerability encourages you to be patient with yourself, to hold space for discomfort, and to believe that in time, this difficult step will lead to new beginnings. Embracing vulnerability is a crucial part of walking away without regrets. It takes tremendous courage to admit that something isn't working, to acknowledge your own feelings of disappointment, fear, or sadness, and to make the decision to leave something behind. Vulnerability means showing up honestly for yourself, even when it's uncomfortable or scary. It means being willing to feel the full range of your emotions without hiding behind denial, anger, or avoidance. This openness creates the space for genuine healing and growth. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you no longer need to pretend that walking away is easy or that you are unaffected by the change. Instead, you give yourself permission to grieve what you're leaving, to honor the complexity of your experience, and to be compassionate with yourself through the transition. This doesn't mean giving up on your dreams or goals. It means recognizing that sometimes the best path forward is one of acceptance rather than resistance. It means embracing uncertainty and having faith that what's meant for you will find its way, even if it looks different than you expected. Releasing control also softens the grip of regret. When you understand that not everything is within your hands, it's easier to forgive yourself for self-decisions that didn't pan out perfectly. You see that walking away is sometimes the healthiest choice, even if it means letting go of your own plans or hopes. It's an act of humility and trust, a recognition that you've done your part and that it's okay to step back, to pause, and to allow life to unfold naturally. This surrender creates space for new possibilities, growth, and peace. It reminds you that you are not defined by your ability to control outcomes, but by your ability to adapt, to learn. Letting go of control is essential when mastering the art of walking away without regrets. We often hold tightly to situations, relationships, or outcomes because we believe that if we just try hard enough or stay long enough, we can shape things exactly how we want. This desire for control is natural after all. Uncertainty can feel overwhelming and frightening. But the truth is, control is often an illusion. No matter how much we try to manage or predict the future, life has a way of unfolding in its own time and on its own terms. Learning to release the need to control every detail is freeing. It allows you to surrender to the flow of life, to accept that some things are simply beyond your power to fix or change. When you let go of control, you give yourself permission to be present in the moment instead of being stuck in worry about what could happen or what might have been. You stop trying to force outcomes that aren't meant for you and start trusting the process of life itself. It means being willing to make mistakes, to learn from them, and to adjust your course when necessary. It also means that even if things don't turn out as planned, you understand that your worth and your value are not determined by external outcomes. You can walk away knowing you made the best decision you could with the information and feelings you had at the time, and that's enough. This trust builds resilience. It strengthens your ability to cope with discomfort and change because you believe in your capacity to navigate whatever comes next. Instead of being trapped by fear or doubt, you move forward with a quiet confidence. You know that walking away is not an end, but a new beginning, and that you are equipped to face it. Trusting yourself is a powerful act of self-love and respect because it affirms that your voice matters, your feelings matter, and your life is yours to shape. Trusting yourself is the foundation for walking away without regrets. Often we second-guess our decisions because we fear making the wrong choice or disappointing others. We look outside for validation, seeking reassurance from friends, family, or society, and in doing so, we risk losing touch with our own inner voice. But no one knows your journey better than you do. Your intuition, your feelings, and your personal experiences are the compass that can guide you through difficult decisions. When you learn to listen to yourself and trust your judgment, you empower yourself to make choices that align with your true needs, rather than the expectations or pressures placed upon you. Trusting yourself means embracing uncertainty and imperfection. It means accepting that you may not have all the answers, and that's okay. Conclusions. Some people won't give you the validation you deserve. Some endings will sting, even if they were necessary. And yet, even in the absence of closure, you can still create healing. You can still reclaim your energy. You can still find peace not because you got all the answers, but because you decided to stop chasing them. Walking away doesn't mean you're avoiding the pain. It means you're choosing not to stay rooted in it. You're choosing to give yourself the grace to keep living, even with the bruises. Healing is not a linear process, and it's not something anyone else can do for you. It starts the moment you decide you've carried the weight long enough. It begins when you understand that peace isn't about erasing the past, it's about its grip on your present. That's why walking away, when done with intention and care, can be the beginning of true healing. Not because the story ended perfectly, but because you decided that you no longer. Healing doesn't always require fixing everything. You don't have to resolve every conflict, tie up every loose end, or get closure from everyone involved to move on in peace. Sometimes healing is simply choosing to stop reopening the wound. It's learning how to live with unanswered questions, how to carry both the hurt and the lessons, and still take a step forward. We are often conditioned to believe that for something to end well, it has to be neat, mutual, or perfectly understood. But life rarely works that way. People leave without explanation. Opportunities disappear without warning. Conversations never happen. Apologies never come. And in those moments, we have a choice: stay stuck in the story, replaying it over and over, walk away with our dignity intact and our focus on what's next. You can heal by letting go of the idea that everything must make sense. Some chapters won't have satisfying. And it doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means you're evolving. And evolution requires movement. It requires letting go of what's easy in exchange for what's meaningful. It requires faith that something greater lies on the other side of your decision to leave. The hardest part is often not the act of walking away, it's what comes immediately after. The silence. The in-between. The phase where nothing is certain and everything feels raw. But if you can sit with that discomfort and not run back to what once dulled your soul just because it was easier, you'll start to see the transformation. You'll find strength you didn't know you had. You'll begin to notice your own voice getting louder, clearer. You'll start to align not just with what you want, but with who you really are. The path to growth is not always clear, and it's certainly not always comfortable, but it is worth it, every single time. It's not always about what you're running from, it's about what you're running toward, even if you don't fully know what that is yet. The unknown can be terrifying. You might feel isolated at first, doubting your decision, wondering if you made a mistake. But if you listen closely during those moments, you'll notice something else growing alongside the fear: self-trust. Every step away from the familiar is also a step toward the person you're meant to become. So many people stay in the same place mentally, emotionally and spiritually, simply because they're afraid to take that first step. They fear failing or being judged or losing something they once worked hard to build. But there comes a point when staying still costs more than moving forward. You can outgrow your surroundings, your relationships, your roles. Growth often begins where comfort ends. It's a truth that most of us resist because comfort feels safe. It feels predictable. Even when it's not particularly fulfilling, we cling to what's familiar because it gives us a sense of control. But real transformation rarely happens inside our comfort zones. It happens the moment we decide to step into the unknown, to walk away from what no longer challenges or inspires us, and to risk discomfort in pursuit of something deeper. Growth asks us to stretch, to be uncomfortable, to question, and to sometimes be temporarily lost. That process can be messy, even painful. But it's within that uncertainty that we discover what we're truly capable of. When you walk away from a situation that has kept you stagnant, you're not just leaving something behind, you're creating space. Space for new experiences, for healthier connections, for ideas that light you up again. When you walk away without hate, you're not pretending the hurt didn't happen, you're choosing not to let it define you. You're choosing to keep your heart soft and open, even after disappointment. That doesn't mean you ignore the lessons, it means you carry them forward with wisdom instead of wounds. You protect your dignity by not engaging in toxic aftermaths. You rise above, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you're better than the bitterness that tries to follow you. Walking away gracefully shows a deep understanding that you can love people and still leave them. You can cherish memories and still close the chapter. You can wish someone well from afar and still honor your decision to create distance. This kind of exit doesn't erase the difficulty, but it transforms it into something useful. Something healing, something human. It reminds you that your power isn't just in choosing to walk away, but when you choose to walk away without carrying bitterness, you liberate yourself. You give yourself permission to move forward with clarity instead of dragging old wounds into new seasons of life. There is an immense strength in choosing grace over grudges. You don't have to seek revenge or validation to justify your decision. You don't need to convince anyone that you were right or they were wrong. When you understand your reasons deeply and honestly, that understanding becomes your closure. And from that place of peace, you begin to see that letting go of anger is not letting them off the hook, it's letting yourself off the hook. It's refusing to be tethered to emotional weight that no longer serves your growth. Bitterness might feel powerful in the moment, especially when you've been hurt. But in the long run, it only feeds the very thing you're trying to heal from. You can leave without hate or bitterness, and in fact, that's one of the most powerful ways to walk away. We're often taught that endings need to be explosive, full of anger, or driven by dramatic finality. But not all departures require damage. Sometimes the most meaningful exits are the quiet ones, the ones made with peace in your heart, even when your heart has been through pain. Walking away doesn't always mean there was betrayal or that someone is to blame. Sometimes people change. Sometimes we outgrow places, patterns, or connections. And in those moments, leaving can be an act of maturity rather than resentment. Bitterness weighs you down long after the situation has passed. It lingers in your thoughts, your conversations, and your decisions. It becomes a lens through which you see future opportunities and relationships. It means you finally realize that no external commitment is worth sacrificing your inner stability. You can love people deeply and still choose to leave. You can believe in a vision or goal and still decide that its cost to your soul is too high. The truth is, when peace becomes optional, your well-being starts to erode quietly. You may still smile, still show up, still function, but inside you're fighting a battle just to feel okay. And that isn't living. That's surviving. Choosing peace often means making difficult decisions. It may require you to disappoint others. It might challenge your comfort zone. But the greatest act of respect you can offer yourself is the willingness to create boundaries, even if that boundary is walking away entirely. You are not responsible for fixing people, saving situations, or proving your worth in spaces that constantly make you question it. You are responsible for creating a life where your nervous system isn't in a constant state of defense. Protecting your peace is one of the most profound and necessary forms of self-respect. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your energy, your Hanermain, and often your loyalty sometimes to people or places that don't deserve it, choosing to prioritize your mental and emotional well-being is not selfish, it's essential. Peace isn't loud. It doesn't demand anything, but its absence is always felt. When your peace is disrupted by conflict, manipulation, toxicity, or simply by environments that leave you feeling drained rather than energized, you start to lose yourself. And the longer you remain in those spaces, the more you begin to normalize the chaos. You adapt, you shrink, and you start believing that unease is just part of life. But it's not. Walking away to protect your peace doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're heartless or that you didn't give something or someone a fair chance. Did I leave too soon? Was there something more I could have done? Clarity answers those questions before you walk out the door. It gives you peace by ensuring you've done your part, you've reflected, communicated, understood, and accepted. You've explored every angle, not to convince yourself to stay, but to be sure that leaving is what honors your growth, your values, and your needs. Walking away with clarity is like closing a chapter with the lights on, not in the dark. You're not running. You're not confused. You're not leaving because you're lost. You're leaving because you found a deeper sense of direction. Clarity clears the fog. It allows you to make peace with the fact that not everything is meant to continue, and not every ending is a failure. Some endings are conscious, empowered decisions rooted in self-awareness and self-respect. And when you walk away from anything with that kind of intention, regret has no room to grow. Letting go with clarity is one of the most powerful ways to ensure you won't look back with regret. When we make decisions impulsively driven by anger, fear, or confusion, we often leave with a clouded mind and a heart full of doubt. But when we take the time to pause, to reflect, and to get honest with ourselves about why we feel the need to walk away, we begin to find the clarity we need to make peace with our choices. Clarity brings purpose to your actions. It gives you the ability to understand not just what you're walking away from, but what you're walking toward. And with that understanding comes confidence, a deep inner knowing that this isn't an escape or a reaction, but a response to your truth. Too often, people make life-altering decisions in the heat of the moment, only to be haunted by what ifs later. But regret is not just about the loss of something, it's about the uncertainty surrounding that loss. Did I try hard enough? What if? So we hold on tightly even as our joy withers and our spark fades. But what if the real regret is staying too long? What if the pain of staying stuck outweighs the risk of stepping away? Choosing to walk away when something no longer nourishes your spirit is a sign of maturity. It shows that you've grown to understand that not everything is meant to last forever. Some people, places, and paths serve a purpose for a season, not a lifetime. And that's okay. When you know your worth and your values, you no longer feel the need to beg for belonging. You no longer try to force something to work just because you once wanted it to. The wisdom lies in recognizing that walking away isn't about abandonment, it's about alignment. It's about stepping out of a place that no longer fits so you can create space for what does. It's about trusting that when you choose yourself, you're not walking away from something, you're walking towards something greater. Walking away is often seen as giving up, as a failure, or as an act of cowardice. But in truth, knowing when to walk away is one of the most courageous and intelligent decisions a person can make. It means you've assessed your situation honestly. You've stopped romanticizing what could be and started acknowledging what is. It means you're no longer willing to waste your time, your energy, or your emotional well-being on something that's draining you or no longer aligned with who you're becoming. Many people stay in places, jobs, relationships, communities out of fear. Fear of judgment. Fear of being alone. Fear of the unknown. But there's a deeper fear at play too, the fear of regret. We worry that if we leave, we'll look back and wonder,